Alright, welcome to the first ever Meat Jelly Meaty Cooking Podcast. We're still working on a name. Today we're going to be making my grandmother's famous stuffed mushrooms. They're absolutely delicious and great at fucking parties. Trust me, these mushrooms will get you laid. So first let me just go over everything you need to do this. You're going to need whole white mushrooms. I have 6 packs here. You can do more or less. You can make these in large or small batches. It's always great to make more than you anticipate because people eat the shit out of these. You're going to need a couple sticks of butter, 1 or 2 onions, depending on how many mushrooms you have. I think 1 onion will work for this, although I usually use about half an onion because it gets a little too oniony sometimes. You will also need shredded Swiss cheese and grated Parmesan cheese. Now I'm using shredded Parmesan today because it was on sale and it was really cheap. You'll also need some baking sheets and a pan maybe. It depends on how many mushrooms you're gonna make, because everything's gonna go in the oven at the end. Optionally, you can use a food processor. It helps a lot. I didn't have one before, so I was chopping everything myself, or rather I was having Chris Johnson do all my chopping for me. But yeah, obviously you can do all the chopping yourself. It is just a bitch and a half and it takes forever. So first things first, we're going to want to get this onion chopped up. And you're going to want to chop the onion. If you're using a food processor, you're still going to want to try and mince the onion as much as you can before you toss it in there. Just help it out a little bit. So we're going to, I'm not the greatest at cutting. But also shout out to Mud Dog for their newest EP, Survive. Go take a look on Bandcamp. It's really fucking tasty. Got some Metal Gear Solid references in there. Hot fucking fire, my dudes. We also got another local Stevens Point band called Goodland popping off with their new EP. Go give that a listen. The music here in the background would be Cooking with the Miles Davis Quintet. I thought that was pretty fitting. Alright, so now that's the best I can fucking do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the onions chopped. I'm going to get the onions down real fine and then add the next ingredient. By the way, this is a sanitized countertop. It's not all fucking nasty for the people who are going to be eating this later today. That is a lot of fucking onion, dude. I don't think we need this much.
You need it.
So, we're gonna always practice safe food processing methods, guys. You really don't want to get your hand chopped by this bitch because I could imagine it hurts. Obviously, I'm not a dumbass, so I've never fucking hurt myself doing this. Make sure it's firmly on there. Put the cap in. Right. And look at the onions. You want it to be kind of, like really tiny. You don't want, I guess you don't want too much of a snap in it. All right, next, you're going to take all of the mushrooms and you're going to want to pop the stem off like that with all of them. Bam! Pop! Yeah, good?
I got it.
Did it work? Let's see if it worked. Alright, so now that we have all the mushrooms popped, you want to grease your sheets with butter. Mind you, do not use salted butter. You will ruin these things. They will taste ungodly. Alright, and now get these bad boys ready. Line them up as close as you can, but I'd say maybe don't have them touching. Although, in the end, it doesn't matter if they're all sticking together because people are going to be going the fuck at these at any function you can think of. Again, great for parties, great for impressing your date. All right. So we got our boys plated. Now, you're gonna take those stalks you popped off and you're gonna pop them into your food processor, or you're going to finely chop them, which will take a long time, and then mix them with the onion. So, here we go. We're gonna get those boys in there. Now, here's the tricky part. When you're using a food processor, you want to be careful not to end up, if you process it too much, you'll end up with a nasty gray sludge that it's no good. No, it's no good. So again, you want to be pulsing, just a couple of pulses just so they're all chopped up. You want the mushrooms to be kind of chunky. One thing I forgot to add is we are going to use garlic. You want garlic powder, you do not want cloves. I only have minced garlic, so we're gonna get a little zesty up in this bitch. And you know, you don't need too much. It's gonna be very potent, though. I like a lot of garlic. I'm a big garlic guy. That should be good. It's a little sludgy, but I think that's gonna be pretty good right in there. Yeah, get right in there. All right. I'm just gonna taste for the chef. Oh, oh my God, it's perfect. Oh shit. Well, since you just saw me lick my fingers, I'm gonna wash my hands. Guess we're hand drying today. All right. Now that we have this going on, we can get the cheese ready, which is my favorite part. So, you want to use a lot of cheese. I'm talking big cheese. Yeah, because you're gonna coat all of these with the cheese, and you want there to be extra cheese. You want it to overflow onto the pan, onto the All right, so. What we have here is the greatest combination of cheeses ever. This is Swiss and Parmesan, two of my personal favorite cheeses. What we've done is we've used 1 6-ounce packet of Swiss cheese and 1.5 6-ounce packages of Parmesan cheese. Now, ideally, you want to get a brick of good Swiss and great, shred it yourself, but you want, thick shreds of Swiss, and then grated Parmesan, and Parmesan Reggiano would probably be best because you want it to be a potent, and all right. Now you want to get a clean spoon, and start spooning your mixture of onion and mushroom stock and garlic into your mushroom caps. You want to get as much as you possibly can in there. These big ones are great because you can just smush them down. Oh yeah. Now, don't worry about having leftover mushroom mixture and cheese, because this combination with that combination makes for the greatest omelet ever. Which is usually good because when you're making these, there's usually drinking involved. So, probably got pretty good hangover the next day. But, luckily, you can make yourself a dank omelet. Or quiche. Ooh, I've never tried it in a quiche. That'd be really good. Now that you got your mushrooms fully stuffed, you want to start sprinkling the cheese. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we're in fucking Wisconsin, so we're gonna go ham with the cheese. I'm gonna try and use almost all of this on this. Now, don't worry about getting any on the pan, because that's the best part. When you cook these, the cheese gets all crusty and ooh, so tasty. That's the best part. Going back afterwards, getting that extra little bit of snacky. But you want to make sure you fully, you get a good amount on each one. lot of extra cheese. That's perfectly okay though. Oh my God, just enough cheese, man, just enough. All right, I usually go a little more overboard than the rest of my family does when it comes to the cheese, but that's okay. Now, depends on where you're taking these mushrooms. If you're taking them to a function, you want to cook them right when they're ready to be eaten. You don't want to cook them and then let them sit. You want them to be served hot. Great thing about this is, if you have some time, you can prep this at home and take it anywhere and just pop it in the oven at 350 for a couple minutes. Time really doesn't matter. You want the cheese to start to look golden brown. We'll demonstrate that once we get to the function because it's Game of Thrones tonight. But you do want to preserve the mushrooms best you can. So you can just saran wrap your baking sheet. Luckily this pan has a lid. That makes that a lot easier.
Terrace was my stash house, right by the bathhouse. Moving twice a day, had to bring in cash.
Alrighty, so we had a slight problem with the last video, but basically just going to show you the last few parts. Got our mushrooms. Oven is at 350 degrees once again. And we're just going to toss that bad boy in there. And you're going to want to keep an eye on it. Check it every, I'd say 3 minutes or so. And once the cheese starts to get kind of golden brown, that's when you want to pull it out. Alrighty. So now we've got the boys. And it's kind of hard to see in this light, but just a little bit of brownage on most of them. But now they are ready to go. Ready to eat. I mean, wait a little bit so you don't burn your mouth. The inside's very juicy. And those juices are hot. And then you can also see the cheese kind of just, in these areas. Those are great for eating. Snack after these are all done. But yeah, now you got some tasty stuffed mushrooms that you and your friends can fucking mange on. I'm Beef Stu. Thanks for watching the Meat Jelly podcast. Keep on listening to Meat Jelly and have a glands-tastic day.
Building playground, I be everywhere. West.
Fucking shit!
Still protects me, still comes check me.